Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urius Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And we've got a news story that just came out today. Well, one day ago, within the last 24 hours. And that is that Dungeons and Dragons Adventure League update for 2024 is in effect because the new Player's Handbook 2024 version is out. So what does that mean? For most players, it's not really going to mean anything if you're not a Adventurers League player. If you are an Adventurers League player, that's the living game or the living campaign that you can go to cons or you can play at game stores where there's specific adventures that are sanctioned for Adventurers League, and you have specific rules to create characters and specific books that you have access to make those characters, and you play those characters in those particular venues. So, what does that mean? So let's look at the article here. So it says, it's exciting time to be involved in Adventurers League with the 2024 core rulebooks releasing over the next few months. Today we're going to talk about how those books work with an existing Adventurers League system. Okay, so that's really important. I got a picture. That's a picture that I think came from the actual PHB. So these apply to the 2024 revisions in the following ways. When a new core rulebook is released, which today the PHB got released, they will be the Adventure League games will be updated to those rules. Until a core rulebook is released, you continue to use the counterparts from the 2014. If rule options appear in previously published source books such as Tasha's or Xanthar's and was updated in the 2024 rules, then use the standard update. So if rules options appear in previously published books and have not been updated, continue to use the most recently published version of that option. The big one for this is that it is going to affect player character creation. And as we've seen already from Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, that if you take a subclass from a subclass that's not in the 2024 PHB, you can't actually now take it until third level. You don't get it automatically because you have to default to the base class that is in the 2024 PHB. Okay, so grace period. There is a grace period. So grace period before rules implementation. So players have a 60-day grace period for each core rule book to update their characters to the 2024 rules. After that time, the character must be updated to the 2024 rules where applicable. Dungeon Masters should begin using the new rules once a book is available. So the Dungeon Master's Guide's not out yet. And the Monster Manual is not out yet. The only thing that's out is the PHB. So we can use the PHB. So 2024 Player's Handbook. This book is available for use in Adventurers League starting on September 17th. Today, you can review our update to the Player's Handbook article to get a complete picture of what rules have been updated. So if we go to that, here it is right here. This came out on September 3rd, and it's kind of a log change of all of the different changes that got made. But I think one of the most important tables here is this updated subclass table where it says if you're a barbarian and you had Path of the Totem Warrior, you are now going to go Path of the Wild Heart that's in the new book. And it talks about the class features. It basically just goes through every one of the classes and looks at all the class features. So we looked at that. On or after the release of the 2024 Player's Handbook, that's today, you are welcome to rebuild existing characters, swapping out any player options you'd like with the new rules. So just to keep in mind the grace period. And it talks about treasure obtained from play cannot be rebuilt, but if you selected a magic item at 5th level, you may change your selection to another item as referenced in the D&D Adventures League Player's Guide. So I've got the guide here, and essentially that doesn't really affect anybody right now because the magic items are going to be in the Dungeon Master's Guide. So currently the books that you can use, because this came out on March 1st, this is version 14 of the Adventures Player's Guide, the Adventures League Player's Guide. You can use the Book of Many Things, Big B Presents Glory of Giants, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse, Tasha's, Xanthar's, additional rule books for your campaign as presented later in this document, and then additional options as presented in the FAQ. You may also use the following: Elemental Evil Player's Companion and Lokotha Rising, and additionally you can use the customization option. You can use the customizing your origins from Tasha's, optional class features from Tasha's, and the variant human traits. So that's the base thing, and that was before the Player's Handbook. Now you have to apply the 2024 Player's Handbook on top of that. Let's see here. Designing new adventures update. So, I mean, that's pretty much it for this particular update. If you are unfamiliar with what is Adventures League, you can go to this post. You can find a link to that up here. Where is that at? Right here. So this link right here goes to this page, and it talks about what is Adventures League, how does it work, participating in games, all of that stuff. So that's there. There's one other thing in here. So these are not out yet. Updating existing Adventures League adventures. Can't really do that right now because I don't think the SRD is out yet. Designing new Adventure League adventures with 2024 rules. Adventure designers publishing content through Dungeon Craft program. From now until before the release of the 2024 Monster Manual should reference the 2014 rules were applicable. Updates to the Dungeon Craft program will be made after the release of the SRD 5.2, which has not come out yet. And the Adventure League's resources and links thread will be updated with references to the 2024 rules as applicable. Those updates to the document should go live over the next few weeks to months. And then they'll be on the Discord page. Another important thing here is after the grace period is over, if a player unintentionally comes to the table with an outdated character, don't interrupt the adventure to have them update their character. Inform them of the updated character options and ask them to rebuild before the next session. During this time, many players and Dungeon Masters may still learn the new rules and not be aware of updates as others. That's why I'm giving this. That's why I'm putting this out there, because this is an update. Please remember to be mindful of each person's experience and support others. Make sure that sessions keep moving and don't worry about adapting to new rules in the moment if it creates tensions or disrupts enjoyment. One of the really important things about this statement here is a lot of these Adventure League games happen at cons, and there are limited time they're put in a slot, and usually those slots have a very limited time. And if you have to sit down and essentially waste time having a character rebuild, then that's going to take away from other players' experience that probably paid to be at that particular game. So you don't want to do that. I agree with this. You just want to set them aside and say, okay, you can play it for now, but you need to not do that ever again. And I think that's a good rule of thumb to talk about. So that's pretty much it. That's the update. Everybody can look at it. I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and I will catch everybody later.